So this is a very odd British crime drama that kind of now I use this phrase very carefully. I do not mean to say this so that it can be stuck on the poster. It's a film that seems to want to be, but isn't Lock, Stock meets Fight Club. Okay, but it isn't that, so don't put that on the poster. It's written and directed by Will Thorne, who has a background in television production and in shorts. Bradley Taylor is Mark, fresh out of prison, desperate to make friends with his young daughter, he has with an estranged partner. But as with The Godfather that we were talking about before, just when you think you're out, they pull you back in again. There is clearly unfinished business which requires finishing, and Mark's not going to have any choice but to be involved in finishing it. Not least because Frank Harper turns up doing that role that Frank Harper does. The role he can almost play in his sleep of the sort of the threatening gang boss. Meanwhile, his path crosses with a former cellmate, Alan, who is super eager for him and his old pal to get back onto the Crim bandwagon. And it soon becomes clear that that's what's going to happen. But with an oddly black comic twist, a sort of strange, darkly comedic sense. Anyway, here's a clip which I think gives you a little flavour of the tone of the film. Here we go.
So what you can boys tell me about these?
Oh, mate, it's a suicide mission.
Yeah, that's why I need your help. You still got a link with a chemist?
What do you need?
Fine, I'd make my job a hell of a lot easier.
This is heavy, Marky.
That's why I'm here.
My name don't come up once, not once you're here.
Of course not.
What are you doing for Christmas?
No plans.
Yeah? I'm cooking Christmas dinner. All the frills.
Yeah, frills on the frills.
Well, that depends on whether your turkey's going to be succulent or not.
Ooh.
And that conversation then about whether the turkey is going to be succulent sort of develops into this very odd, kind of strangely twisted comedy joke. Now, so the film is a strange match of, firstly, it has some overly ambitious ideas about identity and about sympathetic heroes being torn in two different directions, which it doesn't pull off. But there we go. Nice to see something aiming high. At times, it has a little bit of that kind of Guy Ritchie Revolver shtick. The thing about gangstery movie with sort of psychological. Remember Guy Ritchie coming on the program and explaining Revolver? That was one of my favorite interviews you ever did.
Yeah,
Sorry, Guy. So what? So he's in the lift. And he's what? But there are these moments of weird comedy among the leery gangster stuff that strike the strangest note. I have to say, I have a very low tolerance for British geezer gangster movies. It's just not something that works for me, and it's not something I'm particularly interested in. And there is mob bosses sitting in restaurants and threatening people in low, gruff voices, and lots of stuff with shooters and sticking the readies in the boot and doing and all that kind of stuff, which just not for me. But then there is this other odd, just strange thread of almost absurdist comedy going on in the background. A couple of nice performances. Jackie Harrow's very good as this character Tony. So I can't say with hand on heart that it's a movie I recommend. Partly because it's not a movie that particularly grabbed me. But there was something going on in there. Amidst all the things that it gets wrong, there was something going on in there, and I can't quite figure out what it is. But I have always said this thing about I'd rather see a film be over ambitious than be under ambitious, and for me this didn't work. But it was aiming at something that was kind of odd. And for all the things that don't work about it, it had an odd off-kilter thing going on that I kind of enjoyed in a strange way.
Is it Christmassy in any way? Silent Night coming out in December.
Yeah, it's as they were talking. They were talking about it's around Christmas, and that's why the whole thing about the succulent
turkeys.
Yeah. Succulent turkey. And there's an in inverted commas twist, which is one of those things. In fact, I have to say there are two films out this week which both have the same twist, both of which you can see coming a million miles away, but that doesn't necessarily matter. Anyway, Silent Night.